Hi, my name is Noshad, some guys know me as Shubham, Spurs Video Podcast. First of all, I'd like to thank Harry Redknapp for his service, for basically transforming us from relegation candidates. 1 year saved us from relegation, and the next year getting us in the Champions League. And to do that was incredible. I think a lot of factors did help him, and just a lot of factors helped him get us in the Champions League. A lot of factors went against us to keep us out of the Champions League this year. It is one of those things. There were so many things like points, Stoke, Martin Fulop, all these things. But Harry Redknapp was a risk taker, and he basically took a risk. That's he told some guy on Sky Sports to fuck off when he called him a window, but he wasn't. He was a risk taker, and Harry's ability was the ability to take risks. And sometimes it worked because obviously when you're a bottom, taking a risk works. You're not going to get any worse than where you are. So especially when it's someone else's money. And so why not do it? In some cases like Kitson and Hartson, it worked. Let's ignore the fact that Harry Redknapp was managing a side that was heading towards relegation, and so it was kind of his fault. And but he took, he's the one that brought them back. And Pompey, Alexander Gademark came in, gave him some money. Harry spent it, and he avoided relegation. What irks me about Harry was just his dishonesty with himself. I don't think he was lying as like I'm evil, kind of lie or something. But I think it was the day after Levy's mum died. He went on the press saying, "Offer me a new contract." I think Harry's relationship with the press has irritated a lot of Spurs fans. And the thing on the press is that there's a real myopia that the fact that Levy did offer him a 4-year contract. He offered him the security he wanted. He said, "Look, commit your future to Spurs." But Harry didn't want to do that because he thought, well, I've still got a chance at the England job, and if the FA know they've got to pay like 10, 12 million to get me out of my contract, they're not going to do that. So that's why I'm not going to do that. But he was, it was self-interest. Self-interest there, self-interest when he made his statement, and ultimately, I think Levy had enough. And Levy, for all his faults, always wants what's best for Tottenham. That's why he treated Martin Jol shambolically. That's why he brought in Ramos, but that's as quickly as he signed him, as quickly he fired him. That's Levy has always wanted to do what's best for Spurs. Now, has he made mistakes? Yes, he has, but I've never questioned his love of Spurs. I do question Harry Redknapp's love of Tottenham, and I'll question that now. And I bet you in about a week's time he'll say all kinds of shit about Daniel Levy. I wouldn't blame him. What's he got to lose? I do wonder about, they say, oh, David Moyes, he's going to be terrible. I don't know what's so bad about him. And look at what he's done with Jelavic. He saw a play in the Scottish League, and Jelavic is doing pretty well. Maybe next season he won't do as well because people will know about him. But Jelavic has had one ability, and that's to get players to punch above their weight. That's what we want. That's what we need. We need to be punching above our weight. Is he going to play that beautiful football? I don't know. I don't. For me, it's about playing winning football, and if it happens to be beautiful, great, so be it. What I don't want is the kind of dirty, nasty football where you like do a John Nigel de Jong kick someone in the chest, or you go, oh, I'm injured. Oh, they kicked the ball out of play. Now I'm alive. That for me is dirty football. If you're winning football is attractive football. I don't care what it is. Playing the Tottenham way, I like to see the ball when we moved around. And to be sure, against Germany, look at the way that they played. Germany has shown that you can play winning football. It's attractive football with passing, movement. That's what I call good football. It's just beautiful to watch. It is. Is it tiki-taka, kind of like Barcelona style? No, it isn't. But Barcelona failed because they didn't have a striker in the box. There's no point creating about 1,000 chances if you've got no one to put them away. Sometimes you need a big 6'4" centre forward just to whack it in. Sometimes you have to play a bit ugly. There's nothing beautiful about a right cross or a left leg kick. But effectiveness, the art is in the effectiveness of the technique, and I think that's the same thing with Tottenham. The art is in the effectiveness. Sometimes you do it fancy, like a Damien Meyer beautiful bit of jiu-jitsu or a bit of Anderson Silva head movement, or sometimes it's just a occasion of a big overhand right, like a Chuck Liddell. I've again infused MMA with Tottenham. In terms of who we're going to sign next, I have no idea. Let's face it, we've had trouble signing players, let alone signing managers. It makes it a bit difficult, but I'm hoping that we sign someone in. I mean, obviously, Roberto Martinez. Yes, he had that absolute disaster with losing 9-1 to us. I think that will play in a lot of memories, and obviously Benitez. we saw how he really struggled with Inter, but I think anyone has struggled with Inter. I think the Inter thing, I think, was the real telling thing. I think here he had an amazing team. I think manager changed and he couldn't get the same players that won a treble with Inter to play at that same level. You know, in fact, they struggled to qualify. You know, and I think the spiral has become from them, and so I think that goes to how good a manager Mourinho was and how, I'm not saying bad manager Benitez was, he just wasn't as good as as he thought he was. And take on the role of Mourinho, that was just like, dude, you're on hiding to nothing here. I think if you look at our form after Capella resigns, and then as soon as Hodgson's, it's just too much of a coincidence. And Harry can deny it till he's blue in the face, but I think he just needs to be honest with himself and be honest with the fans who he's called idiots. Because I think the fact he called us idiots, that says how much. And then I think Spurs fans have never really warmed to Harry, and we like him when he's winning, and we dislike him when he's not. But it's not like the King Kenny relationship. They loved King Kenny, no matter what he did. And towards the end, they were like really frustrated about it. He was King Kenny. I think Harry never had that with us, and Harry did some amazing things, and I'll always thank him for. For me, it wasn't the Inter Milan game; it was the AC Milan game when we won 1-0 away, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought we'd go out to AC Milan. This is AC Milan. They were the Group 1 seeds. They'd won two. I think they'd won at two Champions League in the last 10 years. At the time we played them, they were awesome. And to lose, but it just happens. Yes, that people say, oh, look at the Scott Parker thing. I think he's done many things right. Scott Parker, Adebayor, Friedel. He's made some many good decisions, but he's made some very bogus decisions as well. People forget that the Bale thing was forced upon him, and it just worked. But same for Aaron Lennon. The Aaron Lennon thing would not have happened if I forgot the names, like Routledge hadn't been injured. Sandro wouldn't have happened, but he had that amazing game, and suddenly it works. Harry's the kind of person that if everything goes wrong, it's never his fault. If everything goes right, it's down to him. That's just life. That's what people do. People always present themselves to be that way. When everything goes right, it's my decision. When everything goes wrong, it's someone else's. It's bad luck. That's just the way things are. As I found out. Going forward, I'm hoping we sign a decent manager. I don't know who we're going to sign. People can, use this. Can get some Spurs meshable like SpursForum.co.uk or Spurs Odyssey. For me, I was going to go Van Gaal, but I look at the way the Germans have really reinvented themselves. Look at the quality. Obviously, they've got you got to have players of ability, but look at the way they've brought the people through. I don't know, maybe someone from Germany or something, because I like to think that we can't compete. We're not going to be able to compete unless some Kuwaiti guy or some Arab or some Russian buys us. We're not going to be able to compete with the likes of those clubs. I think we need to basically look at look at the Dutch system, look at the German system, look at someone who's got an understanding and say, look, it's not about producing players for now, it's producing players for now and the future, and someone who is able to do both. And if that means getting someone from abroad, why not? Arsene Wenger was, no one knew who he was, and it worked out. Well, obviously we did the same with Christian Gross, and that didn't really work out. That was a hiding to nothing. But people forget that Christian Gross was not our first choice. We wanted some guy from Borussia Dortmund, but he just didn't want to come to us. That's what it boils down to. And Juan de Ramos, well, he's hardly done wonders, since he's left us, has he? And Martin Jol was probably the only one. Let's face it, he's gone to manage Hamburg, Ajax, and now Fulham. And even now, there's a lot of affection for Martin Jol still to this day. Because I think Harry, because he basically said, no, I'm not going to accept us being Arsenal's whipping boys, and he changed things around. Yeah, it didn't work out, but that's because of people like Paul Kelmsley that fucked him over. You ask Harry Redknapp who fucked Harry Redknapp over. The only person that did that is Harry Redknapp. You've done this to yourself. You had the chances and you didn't, and you chose not to take them. And when you had the chance to do the right thing, you didn't. Not once, but twice, but many times. And I think that's what's quite up to you. I do thank you, and I'm not glad to see you go. I'm kind of on the fence. Like many Spurs, I'm on the fence, and that's not what you want. You want. I think that's the sad thing about you. People are always on the fence about you. Anyway, as always, shouts out to all you, Peter, Eggsy, all you guys, and Kev, and hope you enjoy this. And as always, come on, you Spurs.